There you go. All right. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We have had some large expansion to our team, some of who are you can see here, but we have really tried to increase the amount of support that we're able to give to our affiliates and have increased our team size. So you can see that layout here. So some of the new members to the team, perhaps since our last meeting, is Amanda Beavers has stepped into the role of manager for the NL and First Aid program. She was previously our coordinator for those programs. We have Danny Rubo, who's the manager of communications and events. And if you saw any of the fantastic content that was put out by our Life Saving Society socials over the weekend, this is Danny working her magic. You might have seen that we had a great partnership with BC Ferries to promote some life jacket safety. We have Dirk Popin, who is still with us as our public education coordinator. We're going to talk a little bit more about his team shortly. And we have added in Maria Rubinchik, who is the director of member services and operations. She is in charge of the member services team, as well as accounts and shipping. We had a very successful AGM. We saw our meeting happen with our 3 DB Perks certificates and one for the Joan McKinnon Memorial Scholarship, and many of our awards for amazing affiliates delivering quality life-saving programs. You might have noticed that we did not give awards this year for the instructors who had taught the most courses. We are going to relook at how we reward our instructors, and we're going to be looking at our quality over our quantity, because we want to recognize those instructors that maybe don't teach as much but are putting out some incredible programs. So look for that in our 2026 AGM. We also have some really great stats from 2024. You can see those numbers there. These are the highest numbers that we have ever had within the society. So we are grateful to see that we've had 6,000 trained NLs and 6,200 in our leadership, including 5,000 swim instructors were certified or recertified in 2024. We also had our 113th Honor and Rescue Awards. If you've never gotten the opportunity to see this ceremony, I really recommend that you make a trip down to see it. It's very impactful. There is a lot of just recognition for some incredible water safety events that have happened, incredible rescues that have happened. The picture here in the top left, this is Karen Zeiden, who is our national trainer in the Yukon Territory, who received the President's Plaque, which is an award for a volunteer who has contributed huge amounts into our program streams, and Karen was our recipient this past year. Some highlights. We offered French Swim for Life lessons through Crystal Pool in Victoria. So we were looking at just some creative ways that swimmers could get into lessons that didn't take away from community lessons. So they were programmed at a quieter time of the day. And there were French schools that they reached out to offer these swimming lesson opportunities. 26 swimmers went through and received report cards in French. We do have them available under our branch affiliate. So if you have a high population of French-speaking Canadians, we welcome you to run some French Swim for Life lessons. We do have all of those resources, and we worked very closely with Quebec to make sure that we had all the correct resources. Another highlight is the town of Golden, who, small but mighty is like how I like to describe them. So they allowed members of their community to obtain their lifeguard and swim instructor training at an affordable price with an opportunity to end up working. So they basically paid for them to go through all of the training and gave them a job afterwards. And this included many different tactics by the city. So buses to get them to the pools and from school. They did get a 50% discount on all of those courses as well. And then once they had completed their staff training, they got it back and were able to reap the benefits of that. After a full season, they got all that money back. If you'd like more information on that, Chelsea Kiefer is just such a great mind, really creative thinker, really wonderful things. You can reach her there at chelsea.kiefer@golden.ca. A few reminders from member services. All right, so test sheet administration. This is important. So scans of candidates' SFA awards from the approved agencies that are not Life Saving Society, they need to be submitted with the test sheet. Failure to do so will result in the test sheet not being accepted and being sent back, which would impact that turnaround time of getting those awards to those candidates. So these are the approved agencies: Life Saving Society, any of the Canadian Life Saving Society branches, Canadian Red Cross, Heart and Stroke, St. John's Ambulance, Canadian Ski Patrol. So why we have this in place is to prevent a candidate from going through a full course and then being told on the last day, oh, sorry, you're actually a prerequisite fail because your first aid, your standard first aid, which is the prerequisite, is from a company that is not recognized here. So it is very important to make sure that your instructors and trainers are checking awards and prerequisites on the first day and taking copies of those awards to include with the test sheets. For Bronze Medallion, a reminder that they must be electronically filled out. We are not accepting hand-filled paper copies. They have to include the candidate's first and last name. So one of the things we were seeing was, like, it says Tom Brady is the first column here, so Tom B or Summer M. Like, those were the names that were coming in, and that doesn't help us with knowing who we're giving certifications to. So first and last names, no handwritten checklists for Bronze Medallion and Cross. So we have a system for tracking volunteers. So if you are one of our volunteers for an event or on a advisory group, and just knowing your names here, I know that this isn't super relevant to anybody right now, but we do have a Track It Forward site where if you're put onto a project with the Life Saving Society, that is your way to track your hours. Many of you already know that we have a new website. We're very, very excited about it. We all know every time you start with something new, a new process, when we switched from Class to Perfect Mind and Explore or whatever you switched from, we always have some hiccups. We acknowledge that. Here are some ways to manage that. So to log in, you need to go to Instructor Affiliate and type your email and select Forgot Your Password. I know that you had a password for the old site, but this is how we're going to get you set up with a profile on the new site. Here is where you're going to email support@lifesaving.bca. If you're not sure which email is associated with your account, you have multiple accounts, or you're having other issues logging in. And this was as of April 8th, but you will probably see that these have been corrected. Some of the resources weren't showing up under the users' accounts. We've worked on this. If you find something that is still missing, please let me know. Let me know directly, and I can have my team add it to the website. One of the things that I also want to highlight in this as well is, so let's say that my NLI certification expired on May 10th, but I have a recert that's on May 12th. What I'm going to notice is that my resources are going to disappear off of the website after my expiry date, and not until that award is processed in by member services will those boxes click back up again for you to get your resources. If you are teaching something within 48 hours, 72 hours of your recertification date, please make sure that you are emailing support and myself and let me know what you need, and I can get those resources to you. But we have prioritized that those NLIs, trainer research, FAI research will be at the top priority for member services to process to get you back those resources that you need. All right, some shipping and accounts. I will preface this with saying that we have not included the upcoming Canada Post strike that is set to happen on Friday. But what we have done is we've worked very, very hard to make sure that we have Purolator and FedEx and other delivery services on board and ready to go to minimize any disruption that we would have getting your materials to you. Our turnaround time is it takes a minimum of 2 weeks to ship. And if you're in a more remote area, Kitimat, for example, Tristan, it might take us a little bit longer to get things there. So we do recommend to order seasonally. So your summer orders for June, July, August, those should actually be in now. So if you haven't done your summer order for supplies, I really recommend that you get that in to Eliani by the end of the week, just so that we can ensure that we get it to you in time for your programs. We have some really exciting updates with our swim programs. Over the course of the last year, we've worked very, very hard in some development. So one of the really cool ones is our Swim Smart with School program. So this program will provide an opportunity to your school communities. The program has a bit of a breakdown of different programs that they could run with the amount of time that they have. So we do recognize that not every school can commit to coming in for 8 sessions to do a full lesson set. So we've developed it for all ages, and these are adaptations of Swim for Life, Swim to Survive, and we do have some life-saving skills for teens in there. So you can offer Swim to Survive in lesson formats. This program is ideal for communities and schools that are looking for survival training program. And I would say that this has been one that I know the public has really been reaching out to their school boards for and asking for this. You might have heard conversation about why swimming lessons no longer mandatory in grade 3 programs. If you're older like me, you probably remember going to swimming lessons as part of school, and it is something that we, the Life Saving Society, are advocating for as well. However, Swim to Survive can be done in 1, 2, or 3-day formats. It doesn't replace traditional swimming lessons, but it provides essential self-rescue skills needed in the case of an emergency. So Swim to Survive, as we know, can be taught by an SI or an LSI. And there are many guidelines and recommendations. And there's also some components that can be done in the classroom. So teachers can continue that learning within the classroom session. There's a 1-day delivery, but we always recommend three 30-minute stations is great with a focus on water smart messaging. And there's also some 1-day community events that you could throw as well. If you're having a school that's bringing, say, all 200 of their kids in, there are formats as well. A little sneak peek of what that condensed delivery looks like. And I'll show you on the next slide as well. So similar to the old Red Cross program, there is beginner, intermediate, and advanced, with focusing on skill progression and evaluation with some Water Smart. We also have worked in a high school program where there can be an intro into life-saving and life-saving concepts, strokes, and sport. This could help draw in some future participants into our bronze courses or even future staff members. So I really do encourage you, if you're looking for ways to fill that afternoon space 1 to 3 p.m. before lessons, reach out to your local school and see what it would take to bring them into your facilities. And I know I am going to highlight the city of Richmond because I see Poria on here. I know that Richmond has worked very hard with different schools to bring them into your facilities. So way to go, Richmond. Without being totally biased, I do have to say that this is one of my very favorite initiatives in the past year that we have done. We have partnered with Canuck Autism Network to work on providing an adapted swimmer training program for swim instructors. Why did we do this? Why are we passionate about it? Well, 1 in 30 children in BC are diagnosed with autism. And the stat that gets me every single time, it gets me in my heart, is that children on the autism spectrum are 160 times more likely to drown than their neurotypical peers. That is huge. Drowning, it's the leading cause of death for children and adults that are on the autism spectrum, and there's a huge need for effective swim instruction. Yeah, this is a passion one for us for sure. So what we currently have is we have resources available. We have, if you see in this top right corner, left corner here, these binders with all of the visuals that we currently have, as well as first then boards, choice boards, countdowns, a virtual schedule. This is already available pre-packaged on our website for you to buy in the shop. I think it's called the Adapted Swimmer Visual Kit. What's really great about this kit is that it actually utilized teens on the autism spectrum to make these so that they were able to have work as well. So Canuck Autism Network employed teens on the spectrum to make these for us. They can be printed off the website as well. So if you lose one of these visuals and you need to replace it, you can print it off and replace it. The other very exciting thing is there is a second phase of visuals coming very soon. We've been working with our illustrator on 92 new visuals that actually encompass Water Smart, Canadian Swim Patrol, and some of those bronze medal progressions as well. So lots and lots coming. We have our current project where this is going to be our onboarding to getting every single swim instructor in BC and Yukon certified. is to be an adapted swim instructor. So what does that look like? There is an online e-learning module and an in-person training. So the online takes about an hour to do, and the in-person is 2 hours. The topics include a brief intro to autism, neurodivergence, sensory considerations, communication tips, visual supports and cues, and adapting corrections. There are videos that we shot in the city of Delta that are embedded in the course, and lots of opportunities for learning. So it's a course where if you click through, there's like a little knowledge section at the end. You have to get those right to move on. I tested it to make sure that it works. So you can't just like click through to get it. You do have to go through and provide some learning. This does need to be done before the in-person session. I'm going to show you an example of what the videos look like right now. I'm hoping that this will play the sound, but if not, then I'm going to need to adjust it. I think I clicked on share sound, but let's all hope here. Can you hear that? Can you give me an emoji or a reaction if you can hear it?
Visual reminders of how many more times they need to practice a skill. This video will demonstrate the use of a countdown script to enhance predictability and boost student motivation.
Next, we're going to practice our back floats.
The instructor shows the next activity on the visual schedule. He uses short, clear instructions while demonstrating.
And everybody watch me. Arms out, legs up, head back.
To build predictability, he lets his students know they will each practice 3 times and shows this using a countdown strip.
It's your turn. We're each going to practice 3 floats.
The instructor continues to reference the countdown strip while students each complete 3 floats.
2 left to go. Okay, 1 left.
Countdown strips increase predictability and structure.
Good job, everybody. That was your last one.
They are a great tool to keep students engaged and on track when you would like students to practice the skill multiple times.
Next, we're going to sing a song. Let's make a circle.
When the instructor reaches the end of the countdown strip, he rewards the class with a special activity.
Again, super excited about that. It just gives me goosebumps every time I talk about it because I'm so proud of this program. So what the rollout is going to look like is we're currently in our piloting phase. So we've had 1 pilot already, and we are doing another pilot June 4th in the city of Whitehorse is piloting with their staff. In fall of 2025, all swim trainers are going to be required to complete that online component prior to December 31st, 2025. So that will need to be done again before so that you are able to offer those recerts. In 2026, part of the swim instructor recert will need to be completed. So they're going to have that hour course that they're going to need to come with their certificate. They completed the online. They need to come with that to their recert. So that will be a prerequisite for the swim instructor recert of 2026. And then it's also going to roll out in that swim instructor course as well. And you might be asking, do I need to change my programming? Do I need to add more time? No, because in my wisdom, pre-planning, I don't know what I want to call it, but I left a buffer of 3 hours in that swim instructor course, specifically because I knew that this would eventually be coming. So that will be just embedded into the swim instructor course in the development and the delivery guide before 2026. So again, what's really cool is that every single swim instructor in BC and Yukon is going to be certified in this, which is wonderful. We also are meeting with the national branch of the Life Saving Society to work on getting this as an endorsed program so that the other provinces can pick it up too. Obviously, what we want is for every single swim instructor in Canada to be able to have this training. And also, very excitingly, I am going to Egypt in November to present at the World Conference on Drowning Prevention for this program initiative as well. So again, something I'm very proud of. If you have questions about this at all, reach out to me directly and I'll probably talk your ear off about it. All right, in our life-saving streams, we've updated our Safeguard to have a dual stream approach. So we know that a lot of people that take Safeguard, they might be camp leaders, day camp leaders, camp counselors, and we also know that we might have teachers or adult learners who are working with scouts groups, schools, guides, etc. So there's kind of two different avenues that we can take. The delivery guide has been updated with activities tailored to each stream, the candidate workbook as well, and there are additional resources such as scenario banks, activity guides, handouts, appendices, and further support material on this. Also very exciting, if you attended one of our trainer talks, you will know that we have reworked our candidate workbooks for the bronze medals. We are aiming to launch these very, very soon. They're in the final editing stages here. But we have new candidate workbooks to update for Bronze Medallion and Bronze Cross, so you will no longer see Comic Sans font in our resources. They have grown up a little bit. They look a lot more professional. All right, so course hours. This is just a general reminder. Michelle Wilcox, I see you sliding in here, my friend. Bronze Star, a minimum of 10 hours instructional time. Bronze Medallion is a minimum of 20. And Bronze Cross, I need to really highlight this. We are recommending a minimum of 24 hours of instructional time. This is due to adding 4 hours to assist with teaching assistant lifeguard situations. Now that this is a vocational award, as in they can get a job being an assistant lifeguard, this is important to make sure that you are giving your candidates the best opportunity to be successful. We always like to say that, and you're going to see it in the NL slides as well, programming for the bare minimum is just that. It's the bare minimum. Giving your candidates extra time for feedback, for practice, for digestion of the important material that they're learning is only going to make your job when you're hiring them that much easier. So on to NL. And again, please note, minimum 44 hours instructional time. We encourage you to schedule more. It's a collaborative approach that you should be taking with your NL instructors, and it enhances your learner outcomes. You're going to create stronger guards. Maximum hours, do not schedule more than 8 hours of instructional time in a day. So you can still schedule 9 hours, but recognize that 1 hour of that needs to be a break. If your course is between 3 and 5 hours, you should have a 15-minute scheduled break, and courses longer than 5 hours are required to have a 30-minute break scheduled. So again, I don't think any of us that are in this meeting right now, I know quite a few of you could handle doing anything for 9 or 10 hours a day. How do we think that an NLI or a candidate is able to handle learning something for 9 or 10 hours a day? It's just not realistic. Minimum is the minimum. AMOA updates are on their way, so we are taking out some of those COVID videos that were shot to be there. You will see that those are going to be freshened and updated by the summer as well. New guidelines coming to combine with your NL and CPR research. And remember, it's no longer a lifetime award, so AMOA is going to be a 2-year currency, which is going to be into the NL research as well. And later in 2025, we'll be offering in-service modules to support with in-house training. And they're a reminder that there is a $5 candidate fee for AMOA.
Could I paraphrase that just to make sure I understood? Because that was a question I had. It's Michelle for everyone else. With the AMOA going forward, they will recertify it with their NL research?
Yes.
Okay.
Or with their first aid research. That's the intention.
Right. Okay. Because we had pulled AMOA out as a certification for our staff. But we were just, everyone's on a point where it's time to research. So
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Into first aid. And if you are a first aid instructor with us, I feel like I need to give you a warm hug and a hot chocolate and maybe a chocolate chip cookie. This was a lot. This was a very, very difficult year with first aid changes. I love my job more than most people probably love their jobs. I really love it. And the first aid changes that came, they broke me a little bit. They were hard, and we did everything that we could to maintain our relationship with WorkSafe BC and give those changes to you in manageable small chunks. So I have to give huge shout outs to Amanda Beavers, who's the manager. She was the coordinator and then the manager who handled this transition with many, many sleepless nights, as well as Kyle Kronebush, who's the previous manager, Kyle stayed on in a volunteer capacity with us as his national trainer, but also was able to do an extremely quick turnaround and getting that first aid instructor update out for us in 48 hours. It was amazing. So,
Could I just jump in for
Michelle.
one more compliment, because I just did my first aid instructor recert this weekend, and the resource materials like the instructor notes and the instructor award guide, you need to pass along how awesome those are. All the candidates were like, we had people who've been teaching first aid for 20 years and people who haven't finished their apprenticeship yet, and they just loved the resources for that. So in spite of all the chaos, you guys rocked it.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I will pass it on to the team because I know that it felt like a mountain. So SFA and an SFA recert are both equivalent to WorkSafe BC Intermediate First Aid. EFA and EFA CC are both equivalent to WorkSafe BC Basic First Aid. There are new temp cards. There's no more layered courses, which is falling in line with a lot of our other courses. This is important. To recertify in 2028, you must have instructed 2 standard first aid full courses. And I know that that might sound hard, but I need to tell you that we got that down from 22. That is how many WorkSafe wanted all of our first aid instructors to teach. We said that was not possible. They came back to us with 14. Then they went to 8. Then they went to 6, and we got them to 2. So I really need to highlight that there will be no exceptions made for 2028, that has to happen. And we fought a battle to be able to get it down to 2. The other part of that is that you will have to attend a CEC workshop, one in 2026 and one in 2027, and the schedule will launch in November of 2025. What that will look like is it'll be like an online trainer, like how we do the trainer talks. That's what it'll be. It'll be online, and we'll need to make sure that you go through and verify that. That is so that we can keep our WorkSafe BC equivalency and make sure that we're keeping that industry standard. So I understand that is difficult, but these are things that we don't have room to negotiate on, unfortunately, at this time.
Can I ask something in here?
Of course.
That's amazing. Truly amazing to bring it down to 2, because that is tricky to do sometimes. And yet, if we know to reach for that, that is so doable. So I totally appreciate that. My next question is, when old businesses are still referring to this as OFA level 1, how does that relate? Is that the basic first aid? Is that, because my understanding is EFA all the way up to SFA are OFA level 1 still?
Yes, but OFA 1 is not the correct WorkSafe language. So those businesses will need to just have a nice reminder that they are not OFA equivalent. That course no longer exists, and they need to collaborate with WorkSafe to ensure they're using the proper language.
Okay, so it'd be kind of just
all over it too. So
yeah.
Okay. But if you're in a rural location that doesn't necessarily have as easy of access, that is something that you might have to work on, just kind of educating that's what it's called. So Shandy, and knowing where you are, I can appreciate that might be a little bit of a challenge in your area. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Just to know that I can kind of teach them a little bit or ask them a little bit to do their background would be great.
Fantastic. Yep.
And then my last question is, my understanding is teach an EFA, and it is, as long as we add on to that second day, a full SFA.
Let me clarify that one with you, because I'm not sure if that counts as a layered course. I would have to ask Amanda that specifically to make sure. So EFA, second day, SFA. Let me just triple check with her.
So yeah, first day is first day SFA for SFAers, and then a second day. Yeah, I did look. So yes, please double check. As far as I could understand from everything I looked at and tried to resource, it was a yes.
I think it's a yes too, but I don't want to give you 100% on that one until I know 100%.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shandy. AEC, this is super valuable to think about combining it with your Bronze Cross, with an SFA, or an L to have AEC as well. This is a great course that's going to focus more on first aid in the water. So whereas standard first aid is a lot of the dry first aid stuff, this is going to really take that focus and really serve as kind of a bridge between Bronze Cross and NL. It can be taught by a first aid instructor that holds a current Life-Saving Instructor Examiner Award or a current NLI as well. This has been revamped and updated. On the next slide, you will see that these are all ready for you. This is a great option to look at programming to give your candidates. Again, we're trying to build stronger candidates so that when they are on your pool decks, they are more ready to go. Your onboarding can be less intensive. We recognize that supervisor, mid-level supervisor, the ones that do the onboarding, we recognize that is an area of growth across the industry right now. We have so many brand new eager beaver lifeguards out there, but now where our gap is in those qualified senior leaders. So this can help develop your staff before they're actually staff. On to leadership. You're going to hear me say some important things here. I think I've said this in many different meetings, many different trainer opportunities. Your 2025 research, so NLI, FAI, and trainer. This is the year to do it. There will not be trainer or instructor research in 2026. I understand if you just took a trainer course last year in 2024, you're like, well, it's good for 2 years. I'm good until 2026. No, you're not. You need to get on the cycle. This is the cycle with all of that learning opportunity. And I know very specifically that our national trainers do say that in all of the trainer courses. I know that was said. I cannot stress it enough how much everybody needs to take the courses this year. So if you know of NLIs or trainers in your area that do not have their research booked yet, they have to do this or they are going to be out of luck until 2027. There will not be exceptions made in 2026. I'm sorry, that sounds really harsh, but I just need to really make sure that that's imparted to all of you.
So then I do have a question again.
Of course.
For the FAI, because it's 3 years, is that going to turn into a 3-year cycle?
Yes, sorry. FAI is a 3-year cycle, so that one's always the one that's a little bit off. But yes, that still needs to, and that was part of the FAI research this year is still part of that WorkSafe. We have to do all of the things WorkSafe says from last year. So that is why if you're an FAI or there's FAIs in your location, there will be no teaching past December 31st of 2025 or whenever your expiry is, unless you've done the FAI research this year to be on the WorkSafe standard.
We want that. And then the next cycle for FAI, will it be not in 2 years, but in 3 years? To stay within the FAI cycle? I don't want to give you 100%.
I'm going to say yes, but I don't want to give you 100%.
Okay.
I've got your questions written down here, Shandy. I'll get back to you as soon as I hear them. All right, sport and competition. This has been an area that we have had huge growth in BC. Back when I was a lifeguard and a programmer, I apparently didn't know what sport was. I knew what guard comps were. I was real good at knowing what guard comps are, but did I know what sport was? Absolutely not. I now have a whole new appreciation for this sport. I think it's incredible. And we have seen a huge amount of growth in the number of athletes that we have in BC that are representing at national competitions, local competitions. We've even had some of our clubs attend the World Life-Saving Sport competitions and medal in them, which is incredible. So how do I do it? Well, you take your Sport Coach Level 1. So this is a 12-hour course. There's wet and dry, and the prerequisite is to be an LSI. It need not be current. There's multiple different streams. There's pool life-saving, emergency response, and surf life-saving. Coaches will learn coaching fundamentals, athlete preparation, planning, and program development. There are some comps that are already scheduled, and I regret to say that the Victoria one didn't make it in here, but if you just give me a moment to check my phone, I'll tell you exactly when the Victoria comp is. It is on July 12th. So it is July 12th in Victoria. Barnsley is July 26th at McPherson Outdoor Pool in Burnaby. Last year was the return to Barnsley after a 6-year hiatus, and it was so much fun. It really just like sparked a lot of joy in my heart that we were able to run Barnsley last year. And again, shout out to City of Richmond for helping us get that back off and running. And we also ran our DB Perks Life Saving Championships in Richmond on April 6th of this year. The Sean Cup, also a fantastic life-saving surf comp, is split over 2 days this year, August 8th and 9th, day 1 at Kids Beach and day 2 at White Rock Beach. So that is a super fun comp. I'm really excited for that one because I personally haven't seen it, and I am pumped to see what that looks like. We always need volunteers. We always need competitors. If this is something that you're interested in, reach out to this guy. So Oliver Nugent is he likes to say, my job is sports. He's got more than that in his life, but he is our life-saving sport expert and just a champion for it. He makes it super fun and attainable and breaks it down into bite-sized chunks. He's also just a really great, fun person to talk to. So if you have any questions at all about sport, Ollie is your man. Public education, we have a lot of really great initiatives that happened in 2024. I'm not going to read all those stats out, but you can see how popular our WaterWise team is. We were very, very active last year on both the mainland and Vancouver Island. And I literally, as I was just speaking, watched our Subaru drive out of the parking lot as they head to another school presentation right now. We have 2 fabulous team members for our WaterWise this year. And bookings are open. So if you are looking to fill some small gaps in your schedule, or you want to see what we have available, you can email Dirk Popin at dirkp@lifesaving.bc.ca. And there is a form that you can book a presentation on that is on our website as well. The WaterWise team is fabulous. We also have some staff members that'll be filling in for some WaterWise events. You might have seen again that we had a bit of a BC Ferries presence over the long weekend. We are actually going to be setting up at BC Ferries terminals over some of the long weekends coming up. So very exciting. This is the first time we've ever had ourselves at the terminals. Also some exciting initiatives with our Canadian outreach program. Again, some stats for you. Canadians are 4 times more likely to not be able to swim than those who are born in Canada. And 80% of new Canadians will be recreating in, on, or around the water this summer. So that shows us that there's a need to learn and for some water smart tips. So we do see that there's some gaps in education. That learning to swim in water safety, it's not necessarily always a part of their home country experience. It might be something that we take for granted in Canada, that we've grown up being able to take swimming lessons, be around water, recreate safely. This is not the case for many majorities of the world. They might have had limited exposure to water for recreation, including lakes or pools. How can you help? Well, you can host water safety seminars or webinars. The Foundation of New Canadian Outreach Program is about spreading awareness and common water and boating safety tips through short seminars. And we also have some fabulous resources for you. So we actually have these RAC cards in 13 different languages that we can provide you with. We can give them to you if you have a certain demographic that you would like. Some of the languages we obviously have them in English, French, Chinese, Simplified Chinese, Farsi, Russian, Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi, Tamil, and 8 more different languages coming soon. So if you want to get a toolkit, please contact the branch office at info@lifesaving.bc.ca. We also have a Canadian Swim to Survive standard. We all know this. I know all these names in here are strong advocates of this. There are ways that we are teaching new Canadian Swim to Survive events. So you might have seen last year that we partnered with Diversity in Surrey and Delta and ran some events there. And we are looking at working, again, Poria, just because you're here, City of Richmond, we are working with them as well on this. So thank you for being some leaders in this industry. We do have lots of different lesson plans available with timeline breakdowns, including camp style, including swim style. We've talked a lot about this. Please see us if you need any help. Aquatic Safety Services. What is this? Well, Some of the things we do are audits. Why would I need one? It's foreseeable, it's preventable. And if you're opening a new pool, you're refreshing your pool, you're looking at your pool safety plan, an audit is a great way to do that. There's different types. There's comprehensive and there's topical. They're conducted to evaluate aquatic operations in accordance with provincial regulations and guidelines, as well as the Life Saving Society national standards. A comprehensive is an evaluation of like your whole aquatic operation in your facility. A topical is a target area with a specific challenge or challenges facing an organization. So an example is, this is Swim Bay in Peachland. So a topical audit is looking at their structures in place here, whereas like a comprehensive would be like the whole. If you have any questions about audits, I actually think that he's going to come up on a slide very shortly, but here are some of the programs that we offer with Safety Services. Say that 5 times fast. Len Manuel. If you don't know Len is one of my, not even just my favorite in aquatics, Len's one of my favorite humans on the planet. He is so knowledgeable. His brain, the amount of stuff that he has. He also has experience as a past national president of the Life Saving Society Board and a past branch president of the Life Saving Society Board. So we are incredibly lucky that he is on our team as our Aquatic Safety Services Manager. He's your guy. Even if you have a general inquiry about like, hey, like what's your recommendation for footwear on deck? Or do you have anything about noise levels? Len is the man. Oh, our national trainers. I do like that I kind of get to end with the section here. They're amazing. We love them. They are the reason we are successful in doing what we do. And I'm not just saying that because one of my favorites is in this meeting right now, but our national trainers are just incredible experts, incredible advocates for water safety, water smart, drowning is preventable, everything. They are keys in hosting apprentices, advanced awards, supporting instructor development, facilitating pilot programs. We simply could not do what we do without them. They are assigned to lots of different regions. So Michelle is based in Squamish, but does support Sunshine Coast as well as areas of Vancouver and Lower Mainland as well. She's a staunch advocate for all of our programs and has a lot of great industry history as well. So I'll highlight her. But if you're not sure who your national trainer is, look at our website. I believe that we have them all mapped out, where they are and who they are. And if you're really not sure how to connect with them, again, reach out to any of the program staff and we will put you in contact with your national trainer.